Do you know what you eat 3 hours before intimacy has a direct impact on how intense your orgasm is? Not slightly, not marginally. I am talking about the difference between an orgasm that barely registers and one that moves through your entire body. And most women over 60 have no idea this connection even exists. Today, I am going to show you exactly 5 foods that dramatically increase orgasm intensity. And I am going to explain the precise biological reason each one works. I will also tell you the exact timing, because eating these foods at the wrong time means you get almost none of the benefit. And at the end, I will tell you 3 foods that actively block your orgasm response that you need to stop eating before intimacy. This is not about supplements. This is not about hormones. This is about something you already do every single day. Eating, and how a few simple, inexpensive changes to what and when you eat can change your intimate life starting this week. Hello, I am Dr. William Harrison, a gynecologist specializing in women's intimate health after menopause. In over 20 years of practice, I have seen thousands of women try every cream, every supplement, every technique recommended to them, while completely overlooking the most fundamental biological variable of all, the nutritional environment inside their body at the moment of intimacy. Today, that changes for you. Before we go further, I want to hear from you. Write in the comments "I had no idea" if this connection between food and orgasm is completely new to you. Or write "Tell me more" if you have heard something about this but never had it explained properly. I read every comment and your responses help me understand what information this community needs most. Now, let me explain the biology, because once you understand it, everything I am about to share will make complete sense. Your orgasm is not primarily an emotional event. It is a vascular event, a neurological event, a muscular event. When you become aroused and reach orgasm, 3 things happen simultaneously in your body. First, blood flow to your genitals increases dramatically, 5 to 10 times above baseline. That increased blood flow is what makes your clitoris engorge and become sensitive, what thickens your vaginal walls, and what activates the lubrication response. Second, your pelvic floor muscles contract rhythmically and involuntarily. Those contractions are the physical sensation of orgasm itself. Third, your brain releases a surge of dopamine, the neurotransmitter of pleasure and reward, that creates the psychological experience of intense satisfaction that accompanies those physical contractions. Here is the problem after 60. All 3 of these processes depend on a molecule called nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is produced by the cells lining your blood vessels, and it acts as a signal that tells those vessels to dilate, to open wider and allow more blood through. Without adequate nitric oxide, your blood vessels stay partially constricted, blood flow to your genitals is reduced, engorgement is incomplete, sensitivity is lower, and orgasm, if it comes at all, is significantly weaker. After menopause, your natural production of nitric oxide drops by approximately 50%. This is not a small decline. This is the primary biological reason why orgasms feel different, weaker, or harder to reach after 60, and it is directly, measurably influenced by what you eat. Your body produces nitric oxide from 2 amino acids, arginine and citrulline, and from dietary nitrates. When you consume foods rich in these compounds, your body converts them into nitric oxide within 1 to 2 hours. Nitric oxide concentration in your blood peaks at approximately 3 hours after consumption and begins declining after 4 hours. This is precisely why 3 hours is the optimal timing. Eat the right foods 3 hours before intimacy and your nitric oxide levels, and therefore your pelvic blood flow, your engorgement, your sensitivity, and your orgasm intensity are at their absolute biological peak exactly when you need them to be. If this science is making you see your body in a completely new way right now, please subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications. I share this kind of evidence-based, practical women's health information that most doctors simply do not have time to explain in a standard appointment. Now, let us go through the 5 foods. I'm going to tell you exactly what to eat, exactly how much, exactly how to prepare it, and exactly why it works at a biological level. Food 1 is dark chocolate, specifically 70% cacao or higher. I want you to eat 30 to 40 grams. That is approximately 3 to 4 small squares. No more than that. Here is why it works. Dark chocolate is one of the richest dietary sources of flavonoids, plant compounds that directly stimulate the enzyme responsible for nitric oxide production in your blood vessel walls. Multiple clinical studies have demonstrated that flavonoid-rich dark chocolate measurably improves blood vessel dilation within 2 to 3 hours of consumption. But dark chocolate does something else that is equally important. It contains a compound called phenylethylamine, often called the love molecule, that triggers a release of dopamine in your brain. Remember that dopamine surge I mentioned is one of the 3 components of orgasm? Dark chocolate begins priming that response before intimacy even begins. It also contains anandamide, which activates the same receptors as cannabis and creates a state of relaxed, open pleasure without any psychoactive effect. Eat your dark chocolate 2 to 3 hours before intimacy. Let it melt slowly in your mouth rather than chewing it quickly. This activates more taste receptors and prolongs the phenylethylamine release. And it must be 70% cacao minimum. Milk chocolate has too much sugar, too many dairy solids, and a fraction of the active flavonoid content. Food 2 is watermelon. Eat 2 to 3 cups of fresh watermelon, approximately 300 to 400 grams. Here's the secret most people do not know. Eat the white flesh closest to the rind as well, because that part contains the highest concentration of the active compound. Watermelon is the richest natural source of citrulline on the planet. Your body converts citrulline into arginine and then into nitric oxide. What makes citrulline particularly valuable compared to consuming arginine directly is that citrulline bypasses the digestive breakdown that reduces arginine absorption, meaning more of it actually reaches your bloodstream and converts into active nitric oxide. Researchers at the University of Texas have described citrulline's effect on blood vessel dilation as producing results similar to pharmaceutical vasodilators, but naturally and without side effects. Watermelon is also 92% water, which means it simultaneously addresses the hydration piece. And adequate hydration is essential for natural lubrication. Eat your watermelon 3 to 4 hours before intimacy, because the high water content means your body needs slightly more time to process it fully. Food 3 is spinach and dark leafy greens. Eat 2 cups of raw spinach or 1 cup lightly steamed. You can substitute kale, arugula, or Swiss chard. All work through the same mechanism, and spinach is extraordinarily rich in natural nitrates. Your body has a specific biological pathway, the nitrate-nitrite-nitric oxide pathway, that converts dietary nitrates directly into nitric oxide. This is a separate production pathway from the arginine and citrulline route, which means spinach adds to the nitric oxide your body is already producing from the other foods rather than competing with them. Spinach also contains magnesium, a mineral that relaxes blood vessel walls, allowing them to dilate more fully in response to the nitric oxide signal. And it contains iron, which improves the oxygen-carrying capacity of the blood flowing to your genitals. Do not overcook spinach. The nitrates are heat-sensitive. A light steam of 3 to 5 minutes is the maximum. Raw in a salad is ideal. Eat your spinach 3 hours before. Food 4 is salmon or other fatty fish. Sardines, mackerel, or trout all work equally well. Eat a portion of 150 to 200 grams, approximately the size of your palm. Prepare it grilled, baked, or steamed. Never fried because the high heat oil destroys exactly the compounds we need. Salmon works through three distinct mechanisms. First, it contains approximately 1.2 grams of arginine per 100 grams, direct precursor to nitric oxide. Second, salmon is extraordinarily rich in omega-3 fatty acids, specifically EPA and DHA. These fatty acids improve the flexibility and responsiveness of your blood vessel walls, making them more capable of dilating in response to nitric oxide. Think of it as making the pipes more elastic so they can open wider when the signal arrives. Third, salmon is one of the best natural sources of vitamin D. Women over 60 have dramatically reduced skin synthesis of vitamin D, and vitamin D deficiency is directly linked to reduced testosterone production. Yes, women need testosterone for sexual desire, and without adequate vitamin D, your body cannot produce it efficiently. A 2018 study found that women who consumed fatty fish 3 times per week reported measurably more intense orgasms after 6 weeks. Eat your salmon 3 hours before intimacy. Food 5 is avocado. Eat half to 1 medium avocado, approximately 100 grams. You can eat it in a salad, sliced simply, or as guacamole. Avocado works through 4 mechanisms that make it arguably the most complete sexual nutrition food available. First, avocado is rich in monounsaturated fats, the specific type of healthy fat your body uses as raw material to produce both estrogen and testosterone. After menopause, dietary fat becomes even more critical for hormone production because your ovaries are no longer the primary production site. Second, avocado contains high concentrations of vitamin E, sometimes called the sex vitamin, which improves circulation throughout your entire body, including your genitals, increases the sensitivity of nerve endings in the genital area, and protects cells from oxidative damage. Third, avocado contains more potassium than bananas. Potassium is essential for the quality and intensity of muscular contractions, including the pelvic floor contractions that are the physical experience of orgasm. More potassium means stronger, more sustained contractions. Fourth, avocado contains folate, which increases histamine levels in the body. Histamine plays a direct role in the intensity of orgasmic release. Women with higher histamine levels at the moment of orgasm consistently report more intense experiences. Eat your avocado 3 hours before intimacy. Now I need to tell you about the 3 foods that actively block your orgasm response. These are just as important as the 5 foods that help. The first orgasm blocker is heavy, fried food, pizza, hamburgers, French fries, heavy cream sauces, fried anything. When you eat a heavy meal, your body diverts a massive amount of blood to your digestive system to process it. That blood is physically unavailable to your genitals. You literally cannot have strong pelvic engorgement when your body is in full digestive mode. Heavy food also causes the physical bloating and lethargy that make intimacy feel uncomfortable before it even begins. The second orgasm blocker is alcohol beyond 1 glass. I know this is not what everyone wants to hear. 1 glass of wine can genuinely help by reducing anxiety and inhibition. That has real value. But more than 1 glass begins to work against you in 3 specific ways. Alcohol dehydrates you, reducing natural lubrication. It numbs peripheral nerve endings, directly reducing genital sensitivity. And it significantly impairs the dopamine release that creates the psychological intensity of orgasm. The rule is 1 glass maximum, consumed at least 2 hours before intimacy, with plenty of water alongside it. The third orgasm blocker is heavy dairy. Thick cream, strong-aged cheese, cream-based sauces, ice cream. Heavy dairy causes bloating and gas in most women over 60, creates physical lethargy from the casein protein, which has a mild sedative effect, and can produce a mucus response that affects overall hydration. None of these states are compatible with strong orgasmic response. Here is your exact meal plan for tonight or whenever you next choose to use it. 3 to 4 hours before intimacy, eat a meal that includes your salmon portion, 2 cups of raw spinach salad, half an avocado, and 2 to 3 cups of watermelon as your dessert. 2 to 3 hours before intimacy, eat your 3 to 4 squares of 70% dark chocolate slowly. 1 hour before, drink 1 glass of water. That is your complete nutritional protocol. Simple, inexpensive, available at any grocery store, and biologically optimized to give your body exactly what it needs to produce the strongest possible orgasm response. Your next intense orgasm does not require a prescription. It does not require an expensive treatment. It may simply require a smarter meal eaten at the right time. Share this video with a woman who deserves to know this. Leave me your comment. I had no idea, or tell me more, and tell me which of these 5 foods you are going to try first. I am Dr. William Harrison. Your body knows how to feel extraordinary. Give it the right ingredients. I will see you in the next video. One final thing I want to address directly because I hear this question in my practice regularly. Some women ask me, does this work if I do not have a partner? Does this work for solo intimacy? The answer is completely yes. Everything I have described today is about your body's internal biological environment. Nitric oxide production, pelvic blood flow, dopamine response, muscular contraction quality. None of these processes care whether a partner is present or not. Your body's capacity for intense orgasmic experience is entirely your own. It belongs to you. It is not dependent on anyone else's presence or participation. These 5 foods optimize your biology for pleasure regardless of the context in which you choose to experience it. Your intimate life, in whatever form it takes, deserves this level of attention and care. You deserve it.